So thinking this weekend about some different ways of looking at some of the things that we're working on, some ways that I could help move you, I came up with this question. Can you hit a target? Is it possible to hit a target if you don't aim at it first? I mean, you could get lucky, okay, and it's possible that you shot an arrow that way, and maybe someday it'll hit some target somewhere, right? But the odds are you can't hit a target unless you are aiming at it, correct? So if you don't aim first and know what you're targeting, what do you tend to do? If you're not aiming, you're not focusing on the target, what do we tend to do there? Sorry? Live in hope or die in despair. Yeah, okay, got it. What else? Keep on shooting and getting nothing. Hopefully we keep on shooting. Okay, what else? We don't take a shot. So I wrote down here, we hesitate, don't we? We don't know what we're shooting at. We tend to hesitate a little bit. We tend to procrastinate a little bit. We wait, we look, we review, and we wait to see what's going on. We wait to see what's going on. Why? Why does that tend to happen?
No goals.
Well, no goals. And if I could reframe that a little bit, we don't know where to focus our energies. We don't know where to put that energy and that focus. You guys with me on this? Because this is going to help us focus on where we're going for the balance of 2013. What we're focused on is usually what we get. And if we're not focused on something, what's the end result of that? If you're not focused on something, what do you tend to get? Nothing. Nothing. Well, certainly not what you want, okay? So I wrote down here, if you have something you want to achieve, and the clearer you are about what you want to achieve, the greater the chance you have of achieving it. The more you know what you want, and the clearer you are about what that is you want, the higher the odds are, the better the chance is that you're going to get it. Yet, we go around without those goals all the time. Be honest. Here, do this. Write yes or no on a piece of paper. Just write yes or no on a piece of paper real quick. Yes or no. Be totally honest. Can you list down with complete clarity your goals, money goals, transaction goals, and what those goals are going to get for you for 2013? Remember the business plans we all wrote in January? And we got them all clear and everything focused, where we want to go, places we want to visit, things that we want to do. Remember all of that? Say yes.
Yes.
We did all that. We did those exercises. Can you, with complete honesty and clarity, write down exactly what you wanted, what you were looking for? Some I get some nods yes. Some are doing this. Some are going, If your target is vague or your target is impractical, it is much more difficult to achieve anything. If you don't know what your target is, here's a question. If you don't know what your target is, how will you know when you have achieved it? If you don't know what your target is, how will you know? It's like a Mike Ferry, it's when Mike Ferry is asked, what do I say to the person at the door when no one's home? You'll get that later. Okay. I wrote down, your dreams and ambitions won't just land in your lap. Get neatly gift wrapped for your enjoyment without you having to do anything. That's Fantasyland. That's Fantasyland. Here's the issue. Some of us sit around hoping, waiting, praying, whatever it is you do, for the big deal, the money to be there, the inheritance to come. And when it doesn't come, what are you going to do? Does that make sense?
Yes.
We're all guilty of it at some level. And what we need to do is we need to focus in on achieving those goals. So I wrote down here, why do we sit around waiting for it to happen? Because at some level, we believe something will happen and we will inherit the money we need or we will win the lottery. Otherwise, why wouldn't you do what you're supposed to do on a daily, weekly basis? We believe this at some level. If I could shake you slightly today, just shake you slightly and remind you that that's not going to happen in most of our cases. That whatever money we have for our future, whatever that future is going to be for us, is only going to be from the efforts that we put forth from today forward. Period. That's it. I'll even submit to you that some people think they're going to inherit big wealth, only to find out that their parents lost it. And they're living in houses with, they thought were complete equities where the properties were paid off, and they've been living on reverse, what do they call those, reverse mortgages? A lot of parents, that's happening to, because they took their money and they invested it over the last 7 to 10 years in losing propositions, and the money's not there anymore. And the kids think that, wow, when something happens to mom and dad, you know, I'm going to get this $500 or $1 million piece of property. I'm going to get it inherited. It's going to come to me. It'll come to myself and my sisters or brothers, whatever the situation is. They'll split it up and I'll have some money and live the rest of my life. Doesn't happen. Or it might not happen. Let me throw out a thought at you. Life insurance. Hopefully all of you that are parents of younger children have some. But let's talk about the definition of some. $1 million sounds like a lot of money. And having $1 million life policy sounds like a good amount. But if you have a child, let's say that's 10 years old, and God forbid something happens to you and you're the primary breadwinner, then that $1 million policy comes. But you want to hold on to the money and live off of what the money throws off, right? You don't want to use the principal because you want to save the money so that you can give the child a little bit of a leg up, maybe pay for their education when they end up going to school. By the way, how much does it cost for a decent school today? 50, how much?
$50,000
A year. How many years do you usually go to school? 4. Yeah.
5, 6.
4, 5, 6. Okay. Certainly 4 at $50,000 a year. Even the even the state schools, a lot of our state schools today, our better ones, are in the $35,000 to $45,000 range. If you go to a Ivy League school, you're looking at 55 to 60, 65,000. If the child wants to go on to higher education and they want to be a lawyer or they want to be a doctor, you're talking about an additional 3 to 7 years depending on the education. You can eat up $1 million in an education pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. And that's one kid. What if you have two? So let's go back to the $1 million for a second. Let's not even talk about the principal. Let's talk about the $1 million. So what you want to do is you want to set it up in such a way where the $1 million is in the bank or some kind of an investment, and it's throwing off money to you or to the family. And what can you get for interest today in a fairly secure investment? 2.5 on a 10-year note. So you have to lock the money up for 10 years to get 2.5%. So in years past, you could talk 4%. But I think today, if you talk 3%, you're probably more in the ballpark. So what's 3% of $1 million in terms of interest earned? How much? $30,000 a year. Okay? Now, what can $30,000 buy you and your kids?
Not a lot.
It's not a lot, is it? So we have $1 million worth of insurance, but it's only going to throw off $30,000 a year. So let's have $2 million worth of insurance. Better, right? So it's still the same 3%. How much are we going to get now? $60,000. What's $60,000 going to buy us? Do you get what's going on here? We have to plan today for tomorrow. We have the opportunity of a lifetime here in our business. We can earn whatever it is we want. But what I need to make you understand is that even if you were to earn $1 million and put it away, what's that $1 million going to throw off for you? $30,000. Guess you could buy an apartment building with it, and you could pick up a few. By the way, I forgot. You have to pay taxes on the $30,000. And right now, in this economy, in this environment, are taxes going up or down? Up. So I'm going to get less of the $30,000 to net to do something with, right? If you're in control of your destiny, you're not going to inherit tens of millions of, it'd have to be tens of millions of dollars. If you earn $100,000 a year, you earn $100,000 a year today, and you want to replace that 100, then you have to have how much money, cash, in the bank at 3%?
$4.5 million.
How much?
4.5.
$4.5 million. More, because you have to pay taxes on the 100 grand.
More tax.
Get it? So when I beg you, encourage you, kick you, pull you to do your door knocking, your phone canvassing, learn your scripts, your dialogues, the things that you need to do, I'm doing it, looking at it from a dad's position, helping you understand what it really costs to live, what the real cost of living is, the real cost. I don't think we get it. Used to be $1 million was worth $1 million. Used to be $100,000 was a worthy goal a year. It's not today. Not if you want to have that great life for yourself. Somebody said I should be an insurance salesman. Could sell lots of insurance right now, right? So I wrote down, so why do we sit around waiting, hoping for this thing to happen when the reality is, if it really does happen, what do we have? If we sell that big $1 million house, we get a $30,000 commission. If we double end it, we get a $60,000 commission. It's helping, but is that the end all to be all? It's not enough, is it? We think too small. We're not thinking big enough. We're not thinking about what things really cost and what you have to put away for and what you have to work on. That's why we get up every morning and do what we're supposed to do. Here's the beauty of our business. We're not stuck with only earning X. Okay? If you choose right now to do more, you can. Every one of you in this room. If you choose to do more, you can. But you have to make that conscious choice, and then you have to take the activities, do the activities on a daily, weekly basis. As long as we're healthy, there's the key, we have to stay healthy. We can do this. As long as you're healthy. So, I wrote down here, you are the one that has to fulfill your ambitions. Whatever your ambitions are, whatever it is that you want to achieve in this life. And you have to reach inside and decide what those things are. What kind of a life you want to lead. How long you want to work. How much money you want to earn as income, as passive income. How you want to set up your life. Because you're in control. You control how that's going to be. I wrote down, you're the one that has to stop procrastinating, and you have to go out and do what needs to be done to get what you want in life. That's why targets are important. We have to see where we're going so that we can then lay out the plan and work to get there. I wrote down, persistence is what keeps you achieving, and achieving keeps you motivated. Think about that. Write that down. I wrote it down. I circled it. I've talked about this before in the past. I wanted to bring it back to you because you've got to keep that in front of you. Persistence is what keeps you achieving. Persistence is what keeps you achieving. And achieving keeps you motivated. Because when you're doing it, you feel good about it, and you want to do more. And then you want to do more. With persistence, you stop procrastinating and keep getting at least small things done. It's the little things daily, not the giant things occasionally, that change the difference in your lives, in our lives. I don't know very many people, certainly very few that I hang out with, that can put $100,000 away in the bank in one shot. Okay? I don't know many people that can write a check to put $100,000 in the savings account, boom, like that. But I know a lot of people that can put $8,300 away on a monthly basis. And I know a lot more people who can put $2,100 away on a weekly basis. And it's the same thing as the $100,000 at the end of the year. You get it? Don't wait to write the $100,000 check. Work on it daily and weekly. so that you end up at the end of the year, or the end of 2 years, or the end of 5 years with that $100,000 there. Write this down. You overestimate what you can do in 1 year. You way overestimate what you can do in 1 year, and way underestimate what you can do in 5 years. I'll say it again. Persistence is what keeps you achieving, and achieving keeps you motivated. So here's a question looking back at this year. How many times in 2013 have you achieved your daily or weekly targets of activities? You were supposed to talk to 150 people. You were supposed to preview 25 homes. You were supposed to preview 25 expires. How many times, how many days or weeks this last year did you achieve that? Did you do that? Just write it down. Nobody copy, just write down 1, 2, 8, 15. How many weeks did you achieve that? All those targets that you set out. Not one of the 5 targets, but all 5 of the targets. And that's the week. That's what we're talking about. So here's the question. What would you have done? What production levels could you have accomplished if you would have done just a few more activities each day for the last 8 months? A few more contacts every day. A few more previews every day. A little bit more, few more expireds every day. Every day for the last 8 months. You would have done just a little bit more. Maybe not your goal. That would have been great. But if you didn't do your goal, how about just more than what you normally do? How about your past client and sphere? Your past client and sphere. The gold in every one of your lives. The gold. And yeah, Bill, Dave, Diane, and I. Single biggest challenge that we run into every day, every week, and every month is our begging you to talk to your past client and sphere on a more regular basis. Get the system working on a more regular basis. Not in every case, but in most cases. What production would you have done if you've done a few more? A few more previews, a few more contacts. I wrote down here, if you had done the activities, few more contacts, to get you one more closed transaction per quarter. Think about what I'm going to say. Okay, how many more contacts would you have had to make? How many more expires would you have to go see? How many more people would you have to talk to? How many more scripts and dialogues would you have had to internalize to do one more closing per quarter? And had you done that, the 4 quarters would have been worth $40,000 to you. $10,000 a quarter for 4 quarters. What if you'd have done a little bit more than those activities over the last 12 months, so that it would have been ended up with 3 closed transactions per quarter? 3 more than what you did. That would have been, write this down and circle it, worth $100,000 more to you. Probably a little bit more, maybe 120. Interesting problem, huh? 3 closings, 4 quarters, 12 deals, at least $100,000. That's all you would have done. And that means that you would have talked to a few more people, door knocked a few more houses, seen a few more expireds, learned a little bit more your scripts and dialogues so that you could add a little bit more money, so that you could have bought a little bit more insurance or had a little bit more of a down payment for a piece of property, so that you could have a better life in the future. Unless your parents are going to leave you at least $10 million. And if they are, God bless you, you can leave now. Or we'll go together. Unless you're going to get at least $10 million, which is only going to give you $300,000 a year. Think about what I said. You get a $10 million gift or your $10 million inheritance. You're going to get $300,000 a year, and you're going to pay taxes on the $300,000. $300,000 is going to put you probably, state and federal, close to a 50% tax bracket. So you're back to netting, how much? 150. There we are again. You guys need to go to work. You need to be consistent over time. I'm not asking anyone here to work more than a grade 8 per day or more than a 5.5-day work week. What I am asking you to do is to be consistent over time with the activities that you lay out. I want to also say to you, it's not too late for anyone. It's not too early for those of you that are young, and it's not too late for those of you that are older. Because remember, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. I wrote down, stop playing small. Now is your time. We have been working for the last 7 years out of a hole. The market's in our favor. The wind, it is in our back. Our interest rates are terrific. Our pricings are still great. The attitude of the public is fabulous. Your health, as far as I can tell, is great. Put out a little more effort each day. A little more effort each day. Make a daily target for the number of contacts you're going to do, for the number of people you're going to talk to, for the number of houses you're going to see, for the number of expireds that you're going to visit, for the number of properties you're going to preview. Create that daily target list, and then go hit that target every day. No fail. Every single day for the balance of this year, every single work day. Still only a 5.5-day work week. It's still only what I call a great 8 hours. And let's start today and make this week a fabulous week. Thank you.